Hey guys, um, I was reading Matthew chapter 9 and 10, and I saw that there were very strong points that can relate to the world we live in today, especially that everybody became so judgmental. And I mean, I'm found guilty of that, but it just, the world became so cruel, and there's just, it keeps getting harder. And I just want to discuss with you parts of chapter 9 and 10. In chapter 9, verse 10, Jesus sat at the table in the house, that behold, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said to his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? Jesus said to them, those who are well have no need for a physician, but those who are sick. I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Okay, so I'm pretty sure like all of us have heard this before, but like what does it relate to us in this world that we live in today? If Jesus, if they questioned him and he's the Lord, that he was sitting with tax collectors and sinners, don't you think for 1 minute that they will talk so bad about you if you were trying to bring somebody to Christ? Or not even try to bring somebody to Christ. If you were sitting there talking to a person that has a bad past or has done so many evil things in the past, I mean, we're all sinners. We just sin differently than each other, but they're all sins. Jesus said, if you murder, it's like you're stealing. In our human mind, we think that no, stealing is so much better than killing someone because you just killed a soul. No. Jesus' definition of a sin, a small sin such as lying, is as big as killing someone. So, my first point on this, don't care about what people are going to say about you. Because whether you like it or not, they will talk about you. If you are an angel coming down from above, they will find something to talk about. Such as, you can't fly. You're not wide enough to be an angel. You have a broken wing. You don't fly fast enough. I mean, they will find something to talk about. So don't let that stop you from trying to be a hope to somebody's hopelessness. Try to be the light to somebody in the darkness. Don't let that stop you. That's point number one. And verse 34, the Pharisees said, he casts out demons by the ruler of the demons. He was moved with compassion for them, because they were weary and scattered, like sheep having no shepherd. And he said to his disciples, the harvest truly is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into the harvest. There are so many people. There are so many people lost. There are so many people who don't know about Christ. There are so many people that know about him, but the devil just keeps bringing them down. And what's our role in life? Like, we ask that every single day. Why am I here? What's my goal? Your goal is to bring the lost people to him. And not even the lost people. Simply the people who don't come to church. Simply the people who are away from God. Simply the people who are in so much pain they have no one to talk to. You can be that, and your role is to be that. It doesn't matter to who, it doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter where. But the thing is, people are not going to leave you alone. If they said about Jesus that he cast the demons by the ruler of the demons, what are they going to say about you? They said he was basically one of the demons. He has control over the demons, therefore he must be one of them. What are they going to say about you? Of course they're going to talk about you. And that's the risk you're going to have to take. If you're in this life living for Jesus, this is the risk you're going to have to take. So this is my point 2 for chapter 9. Moving on to chapter 10. This chapter was when he was calling for his disciples and telling them what to do. It says that Jesus sent out and commanded them, saying, "Do not go into the way of the Gentiles, and do not enter a city of Samaritan, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Freely you receive, freely you give." So why did he tell them to go specifically to the lost sheep of the house of Israel and not anything else? I mean, he was the shepherd to all these lost people. His goal for his disciples was go find the lost sheep. I want you to go find the lost sheep and bring them back. Bring them back to me. Freely you receive, freely you give. This is very important because when we see a lot of people, like, you can just point out in our church, oh, why is this guy doing here? Like, I barely see him. Instead of sitting there saying, this guy doesn't belong, instead of sitting there saying, wondering why he comes, or why he's coming today when he doesn't come every day, why don't you go up to him and talk to him and ask, hey, why haven't I seen you in such a long time? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, even if you might receive embarrassment, in the name of Jesus, that's a good thing. And maybe not. Maybe he'll listen to you. Maybe you will grab his attention that somebody actually cares about him or her. So be that. Be the Jesus to them. There are so many people that are lost. He also said in verse 16, "Behold, I sent out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and humble as doves. But be aware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils and scourge you in the synagogue. You will be brought before governors and kings for my sake, as a testimony to them and to the Gentiles." So like I said, people will judge you. People will talk about you just because you're trying to do something good. People don't care. People are not going to sit there and try to testify what you do. They're only going to try to look at the bad. But the thing is, you should not even pay attention one bit to them, because he sees you. God sees you. And if God sees you and he knows what you're doing, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what people are going to say, because they're going to talk about you regardless. Regardless if you're a good person, regardless if you're a bad person, regardless if you're a sinner, regardless of whatever, they will talk about you, and you need to know that. In verse 22, Jesus said, "You will be hated by all for my name's sake, but he who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in the city, flee to another. For as surely I say to you, you will not have gone through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. A disciple is not above his teacher, not a servant above his master. It is enough for disciples that he be like his teacher, and a servant like his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much will they call those of the household? Therefore do not fear them, for those is nothing covered that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Whatever I tell you in the dark, speak in the light, and what you hear in the ear, preach. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." Okay, like I said, they called Jesus Beelzebub, the ruler of the demons. How much more are they going to say about you? That you're only human and also a sinner. So you're a sinner trying to bring a sinner like you to Christ, or at least closer to Christ. Of course they're going to talk about you. They will hate you even. This will cause hatred between you and the people. They will say you're trying to be holy, you're trying to make yourself look good in front of others, you're a Jesus freak. They will say all these bad things about you. But guess what? He doesn't care. He wants you to do that. He wants you to be talked about for his sake. And he said, you're blessed if they talk about you because of me. So whoever is, I was considering about people and the way they talk about others and how they're going to talk about me when I'm standing with someone that doesn't go to church, or someone that has a past. Who doesn't have a bad past? I have a bad past, but I have Jesus. My past is forgiven. And some people don't know that. Some people feel like it's hopeless, like this life is hopeless. Yeah, you might not think that there are people out there who try to kill themselves in your church, in your places that you live in, but they're so near, and just because you don't talk to them, just because you don't see them, it doesn't mean they exist. And one good comment, one positive comment to someone can change their life completely. And that positive comment can come from anyone, including you. You can be that hope. So don't stop. And if you've never tried it, try. Like this is your message on this earth, is to bring people to them. Be that hope. In verse 32, he said, therefore whoever confesses me before men, I will also confess before my Father who is in heaven. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever gives one of these little ones only a cup of cold water in the name of a disciple, as surely I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. So he said, even if you give a cup of water to a little boy that's thirsty, your reward in heaven is so great. If an act that's so simple could give you such a great blessing, what about bringing his people to church? What about like picking up the phone, calling someone who is in need of somebody calling them? Your reward will be so great. And it's not about the reward, it's about helping people live the life you're living, helping people see the Christ you see, helping people be happier just by knowing Christ. And of course, you cannot do none of this on your own. By the power of Christ, you can only do that. And your role is to pray for these people, pray for the lost shepherds, and be the shepherd to them. I know we're not worthy, and I know that we're sinners, and it's so hard to try to bring somebody who you're in the same level. If Jesus was trying to bring these lost people, because he's perfect, he's not a sinner, he has perfect everything, but you're a sinner, you sin, I sin, we all sin, and we're trying to bring sinners to Christ. Sometimes in my head it doesn't make sense, but when I read chapter 9 and 10, it makes complete sense. If you don't know what your role on this earth is to bring these lost people to Christ. And if you feel like you are lost and you're one of them, then you need to struggle through life to get closer to Christ. So this is the message I want to send today. I'm not a preacher and I'm not anything, but I really couldn't held that message only to myself, and I wanted to share it. So God bless, and I hope you guys enjoyed my long video. Bye.